from?
Oh man, I mean, from a way too personal place, I'd say. I got in a fight with my dad, and I stopped talking to him. He was worried about me. One day I got home, and this really pretty girl sent me a friend request on Facebook, and this story was born.
Wow, you were truly catfished by your dad. Well, I mean, I feel like we also have to just touch on, before I turn this over to the audience, Patton Oswalt. I mean, he really shines in this movie and just gives us all the cringe that I feel like we want. Talk about bringing him on board and working with him.
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to work with Patton for such a long time, and he was just a pretty pivotal creative force on this project, and just he and I were in the trenches throughout this whole process, just making sure. I mean, it's such a tricky tonal needle to thread. Like, it could so easily just feel super creepy. And so, like, it was super important for he and I to just, like, make sure we're kind of maintaining that balance throughout the whole thing.
All right, I'm letting you guys ask some questions. Don't feel shy. Just raise a hand. Yes.
At what point, how long did it take for you to be like, this is a terrible, worst thing that happened in my life, that this would make a good movie and I want to actually act in it?
How long did it take to turn it from experience into movie?
That's such a good question. You know, my favorite kind of movies are the ones that are like the most personal and also like the weirdest, where like I hear the idea for the movie and I'm like, how are they gonna do that? And so when I was coming up with my next movie, I remembered this whole saga in my life, and I was like, that has to be it. And it was also really cathartic for me to write, like writing it from my dad's perspective. It kind of gave me a way to just understand his point of view, and it, you know, was influenced by a lot of movies that I love and that I loved growing up. Movies like Mrs. Doubtfire and like, you know, kind of just, you know, that's really where a lot of it came from. And then in terms of my decision to act in it, I just thought, like, I don't know, it was like kind of a weird, crazy idea. And I was like, that sounds fucking wild. I don't know. It just seemed like it would make the movie more fun watching it happen to the person it happened to, like, again.
That's some next level catharsis for you. Other questions from the audience? Yes, in the back.
This is a movie that a premise that could really sustain itself. How early in the process did you come up with the idea of having the fake person visually present in all the scenes?
At what point did you decide to have the fake person visually present in the scenes?
Yeah, so when I was writing this, I was like, how do I make this visually interesting? Because, you know, when I was first coming up with it, I was like, it can't just be all these text messages back and forth. That's going to get boring really fast. And I started to think, like, what does it feel like when we're talking to people via texting or messaging or whatever? And it really feels like they're right there. I mean, all of us today had like 1 billion conversations with people that weren't there, but it felt like they were right there, you know? And when we're texting with someone, we're projecting so much onto them that the idea of my character, projecting onto what he needs at that moment in his life just felt really exciting to me. And then also just having to do that math while we're watching, going like, wait, no, that's his dad, but I want them to be together, but this is his dad. Like, that was just too fun for me to pass up.
Other questions? Yes?
What has surprised you most about the audience reaction so far?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, what surprised you most about the audience reaction to the film?
Just like the amount of love, honestly, has been one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Like, sharing something so personal, and like I felt like I kind of like ripped myself open to make, and then having people dig it is just like, it's a fucking terrifying thing to be like, I'm gonna share this super personal story with everyone. You know, that can go sideways, And but like, I don't know, it's just given me like a lot of hope in a way, in a weird way. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the five of us are here because we know your father.
This is when I get assassinated.
I want to tell you how beautiful the film is.
Oh man.
He's given your father another side that you didn't know.
Oh man.
And we are really, really happy to have seen this film.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Wow. Did you know they were here?
I actually did.
Well-
Yeah, that's awesome.
Other questions in the audience? Yes. Yep, you in the back.
I'm a therapist, so this is gonna feel like a personal question. Don't answer me. Well, how is your relationship with your father now?
If you're willing to answer it, how is your relationship with your father now?
Well, I'll have to hire you for multiple sessions. But it's actually, so he came to the South by, one of the South by screenings, and he had never seen the film before. And he had read the script, and he sat next to me watching it. Which was like it was brutal. I mean, because if he didn't like the movie, this whole road would just be a lot harder. And halfway through, he was like, "This is a good movie." And he was into it, and he took all of those home video footage, all that home video footage at the end. Like that was all him, and during that, he was just like crying, and we held each other at that moment. And then he came up for the Q&A afterwards, which was fucking crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's been like really healing, honestly, and we have a really good relationship now. Yeah.
All right, we got time for a couple more. If they're out here, yeah.
The middle of the movie when it has, when it's revealed and the score kicks up and your mom is on the phone call. What movie was that inspired by, or was the score taken from another movie?
The question is about the scoring over the phone call with the mom, correct?
Yeah, that was a decision I made in editorial. I mean, we had recorded all of those performances, but they're all just kind of saying stuff that we already